Okay, thank you, Dr. Ravi. Uh, Good afternoon to everybody. Today's lecture is about the correlation and regression. I think by this time you must be clear about the measure of central tendency and dispersion. And yesterday I talked about the three types of analysis. That is, one is the categorical versus categorical. Second one is the categorical versus continuous. And third one is the continuous versus continuous. When there is a single variable, we always calculate the mean standard deviation for the single variable. And when we want to know the association between the two continuous variable, that means analysis based on continuous versus continuous, then the concept of correlation and regression will arise.
Ma'am, I would request you to on your video, please.
Your video, where is video? Start
मैम
video.
स्क्रीन पे क्लिक करेंगे, नीचे वीडियो की ऑप्शन आएगी. हाँ जी, आ गई मैम. नाउ यू कैन कंटिन्यू. सॉरी टू डिस्टर्ब मैम. आ गई है मैम, आप बोल सकते हैं.
Now the today's topic is about the correlation and regression. As usual, the correlation and regression analysis are independent. We will say always correlation and regression, but the correlation is a separate thing and the regression is a separate thing. Correlation always used to see the association between two continuous variables. The correlation tells about only the value of the association, but how much it is correlated, that correlation will not tell you. And let's see the definitions of the simple correlation. Correlation is nothing but the extent of relationship where is the regression model is used, where you want to predict something. That is, a regression is an average relationship between two continuous variables. Correlation coefficient gives the index of non-dependent relationship. Here both the variables are not, one variable is not dependent on the other. Where in the regression coefficient, index of dependent relationship is exist. One variable is independent and other variable is independent. Let's define the correlation coefficient. Definition is R is a measure of the interdependent relationship between two continuous variables. Here, let's say X and Y, both the variables are independent, and we want to see whether the X are associated with the values of I. Here we want to see the association between two independent variables, and both the variables are continuous in nature. Or you can say another definition is relationship between the two continuous variables. This is very simple. Or you can say association between two quantitatively measured or continuous variable, and its symbol is small r, and it is also known as the Pearson's product movement correlation. For example, you want to see the association between the height and weight of a group of persons, and other both the variables are independent. Income and expenditure of individuals, both variables are continuous and independent. Price and demand of a commodity, volume and pressure of the perfect gas. This is the two continuous variables, and we want to see the association between two variables. There are two types of correlation. One is the Pearson's correlation and Spearman's correlation. Calculations are always based upon the nature of the data. In the Pearson's correlation, both the variables are continuous in nature, and in Spearman's correlation, data is in the, you convert the data in the ranking form.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Please kindly turn on your video, please. Hanji, now it's fine.
correlation it always depends upon the type of data. Suppose your both the variables are continuous in nature and independent. Suppose you want to see the association between age and weight, then you calculate the Pearson's product movement correlation, and simple symbol is small r. When your data is in the ordinal nature, suppose marks in English and maths, then you apply the Spearman's correlation coefficient. These both the options of Pearson's product and Spearman's correlation are in the SPSS. In the bottom, it is right whether you want to calculate the Pearson's or product. If you want to calculate the Pearson's product movement correlation, you click on that column, and if you want other, then click that. I will demonstrate in the practical session. Suppose this is just the this is the test statistics for calculating the correlation coefficient. Since both the variables are continuous in nature, suppose height of father and son's in inches. This is a formula for calculating the Pearson's product movement correlation. You just take the product of both the variables. This is n. Take the mean of the first group, mean of the second group, standard deviation of the second group, and this is the formula for calculating this. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to know the association of heights between height of father and sons in inches. This is the data for father, and this is the data for son's height. Just do substitute. First, you calculate the product x and y. X and y, you take the product of both the variables. Then take the mean of this. Take the mean of this and standard deviation of this and standard deviation of this. After calculating all the values, you substitute in this statistics small r. Product is there, n is there, x bar, y bar, x square minus all these values are calculated by this formula. But nowadays nobody doing the calculations. Only you, for the knowledge sake, you must know the only the formula for calculating the correlation. By substituting all these values in this formula, we will get r is equal to 0.602. Now this is the output given by the software SPSS. Here the first row shows the correlation value, second column shows the p-value, and the third row shows the number of observations. How to read this matrix? This is correlation between father and father is 1. Correlation between father and son is 0.603. This is the p-value calculated by the software. N is 8 and suppose son and father and son. Both the values are equal. Correlation between father and son 0.60, and this is equivalent to son and father 0.603, and p-value is same. This is the 2x2 matrix. Now you can, if you want to know the association of several factors, suppose you have got 10, then you are able to do the correlation, generate the correlation matrix 10 by 10. That I will also show in the practical session. Suppose these are the several parameters. These are the scatter diagram for each variable that we also can draw from the SPSS. Suppose this is the how many variables are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 variables. 6 variables are there. You can generate the 6 by 6 metric matrix. Here also you can read first row always shows the correlation. This is the correlation between age and age is 1. Age and ALT is minus this. Age and AST is this. Age and this, and age and albumin is this. Or age is greater than is this. Similarly, second row shows the p-value for every variable, and third row shows the number of observations. Similarly, you can read like this: ALT, correlation between ALT versus age. This is the value. ALT versus ALT. ALT versus ALT is 1. All the diagonal elements are 1 because age versus age, ALT, ALT versus AST, and ALT versus this is. All the elements becomes 1. Upper and lower elements are different. This is the correlation matrix for more than 2 variables. Another thing, the value, if you calculate the R, the range must be between -1 to 1. Absolute value closest to 1, either sign will represent the correlation. If value 0 represent there is no correlation. I am just, in the next slide, I will give the grading of this. Another thing is in the correlation is the scatter diagram. In the scatter diagram, on the x-axis you will plot the independent variables, and in the y you will plot the dependent variable. Here, what is the importance of this scatter plot? Scatter plot is helpful in visualizing the strong relationship between two quantitative variables. This is the compact illustration. When you plot the independent variable in the x-axis and dependent variable in the y-axis, you will say like this. There are two types of positive correlations. If the two variables deviate in the same direction, means if the one variable is increase or decrease in one result, corresponding increase or decrease in the other. Suppose one variable is increasing, other is also increasing, then you say the correlation is positive correlation. Where all the points are in the upper direction. That means this is a positive correlation. Since this is a straight line, you can say this is a perfect correlation and value of R is equal to 1. This is the positive correlation. Suppose your scatter plot is like this. Perfectly linear positive since all the points are in the upward direction. If all the points, independent variable and y variable, all the points are scattered, no direction, upward direction, neither lower direction, all the points are scattered, then that means there is a no correlation between the two continuous variables. This is, you can say R is equal to point. Some points are in the upward direction, your value comes out to be 0.7. What is negative correlation? If the two variables deviate in the opposite direction. That means if one is increasing and other is decreasing, and one is decreasing and other is also increasing, then you say the correlation is said to be the diverse or negative correlation. Here all the points comes out in the downward direction, and this is the negative correlation. Suppose this type of graphical representation of the scatter plot. Some points are downward direction, it's -0.4. No correlation, 0. This is no correlation. Suppose this is the important slide. Suppose your R value comes out to be ±1. You can say your correlation is perfect. If the value lies between 0.7 to 1.0, strong correlation. 0.4 to 7, you can say your correlation is moderate. 0.2 to 4, your correlation is weak. If the value comes out to be 0.01 to 2, your correlation is negligible. And this is a standard WHO research methodology book from where I have taken these values, and these are the standard values. And correlation is 0, that means there is no association or there is no correlation between two continuous variables. Suppose another type of correlation is the Spearman's correlation. When your data is in the paired ranking or in the scores form. Suppose you want to see the relationship between intelligence and beauty. Then you said, what is your null hypothesis here? The null hypothesis is intelligence is related with the beauty and vice versa. This is clear, Spearman's correlation. Only the type, this depends upon the type of data. If the data is continuous, then you go for the Pearson's product movement correlation. If your data is in the paired form, ranking form, scoring form, then you apply the Spearman's correlation. Let's take an example. Suppose X and Y are two variables. You just rank them highest with next highest, then take the difference of the ranks, and this is the formula for calculating the Spearman's correlation. Also, you know to do the calculation. SPSS automatically calculate by adopting this formula, calculate the sample Spearman's correlation formula. Here also the limits for the Spearman's correlation is also -1 to 1. Same output will come for the Spearman's correlation, where the first row shows the value of the correlation, second row shows the value, p-value for the well, both the variables, and third row shows the number of observations. This is Spearman's correlation. Caveats for the correlation. Correlation does not imply any causation. It will not tell you what factors are responsible for the particular outcome. It only tells you whether the two variables are associated or not, or how much they are associated. You can see by using that correlation value. If it comes out to 0.8 near to 1, then you can say your correlation is high, low, moderate, and no correlation. You can identify by using that slide, previous slide, this one, this one. You can, by calculating the correlation, and you can say your correlation is strong, moderate, weak, negligible by seeing these values. Correlation measures only linear relationship. So, really important thing. Correlation coefficient assumes only normality distributed data. Both the variables must be normal distribution. How to see the normal that I told you yesterday? First, you calculate the sum of the statistics for both the variables. If the standard deviation is a 30% of the mean, then you go exceed the 30% of the mean, then you go for the non-parametric correlation. Non-parametric Pearson's correlation comes under the non-parametric correlation. Or either you can draw the histogram by, if your data comes out to be in the bell shape, then you can say your data is normal. By so many methods are there in statistics for checking the normality. Suppose your non-normal distribution can be transformed. Suppose sometimes your data is not normal. First thing is you can transform your data by taking the logarithm of that. Then you calculate the summary statistics for the logarithmic values. If then you see the mean and standard deviation. If the mean is a 30% of the standard deviation, then you less than the 30 or 40, you can go for the parametric, otherwise non-parametric. Now, this is the correlation. I think concept of the correlation is clear now. There are correlation is used only for the association for two continuous variable, and two types of correlations are there. One is the product movement correlation, and other is the Spearman's correlation. That depends upon your nature of the data. Both the assumptions for calculating the correlation is, first you check the normality of the data. If data comes out to be normal, then you calculate the Pearson's product movement correlation. Otherwise, you go for the Spearman's correlation. And grading is there by checking the value of your data. If all the points are in the upward direction state, then you can say your correlation is perfect. If all the points are in the scatter diagram is very useful for visualizing your data. By plotting the values, you can identify whether your data is normal or not. I think the correlation is clear now. Now we go for the types of regression models. There are so many regression models. In this session, we will take only the simple linear regression and some concept of the multiple linear regression and logistic. Some idea about the logistic regression, and survival analysis is very complicated that we will not do. Types of regression model. When in the regression model, one is a simple linear regression model. In the simple linear regression, there is one dependent and one independent variable. But when there are more than one independent variable, then we go for the multiple linear regression. Specific statistical method for line of best fit. The purpose of regression model is to draw the perfect straight line. In that, what are the inputs in the regression models? Only one response variable, or you can say dependent numerical variable, which is based on one or more explanatory variable, also termed as independent variable. Now, the synonymous of independent, there are so many terminology used for the independent variables. You can say positive fact, input, explanatory variable, antecedent variable, risk factors, characteristics, attribute. These are the all synonymous words for we are using for the independent variables. You can say determinant, predictor variables. They are called predictor variables because they are predicting the dependent variable, which is termed as y, predicting y. Dependent variables, synonymous for this is the effect, or you can say outcome variable. Always there is our in statistical, in our research, we always want to draw the risk factors for particular disease. What is your outcome? You must be clear about the outcome. After identify your output, you are able to calculate the risk factors for this, for your research question. Statistical method for finding the line of best fit. In simple linear regression, there is only one dependent numerical variable, which is based on one independent variable. So this is a how to estimate the. This is the there is one method in statistics which is known as least square regression. By adopting this method, we are able to estimate the regression coefficients. Our in that this is the method of least square. This is the straight line. This is the observed values of x and y. So by method of least square, we estimate the regression coefficients. This is the mathematical derivations are there. So you must understand that there is some you understand only that there is some method is there, method of least square. From that we are able to calculate the regression coefficients. Minimize the sum of squares of the error of the. Our goal is to minimize the distance of this point from this line. This distance can be minimized by using the method of least square. So this is just the British biometrician who invent this regression. Linear regression. This is the This is very important. This is a mathematical equation for this simple linear regression. Here, y is your what is y? Y is your dependent variable. Beta naught and beta 1 are the regression coefficients, and x is the independent variable. Regression seeks to use one variable to predict the other. And let's take an example for how to do the simple linear regression for that. Suppose numerical example for this is the measure the height of fathers and their sons. First of all, you plot the independent variable in the x-axis and dependent variable on the y-axis, father's height on the one axis and son heights on the other axis. Then say, suppose this is the data for the father's height and the son's height. And the SPSS output will be, first it will give the descriptive statistics, and second it will give the correlation, and third it will give the ANOVA table. In the ANOVA table, you see the last value. If this value is not significant, you can say your model is not fitting, or model is not good. This is only to see the fitting of the model. Here, this is the very important. From this table, you can draw your conclusion. Regression model coefficient. Here, the first will give the regression coefficient beta. This is the value of beta naught, and this is the value of the regression coefficient. Your model is y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x. Y is your dependent variable. Here the dependent variable is the son's height. Suppose, and beta naught is the constant. You substitute this value in this equation. That is 23.67 plus this is beta 1.667 into father's height. What is the interpretation of this model? If the father's height is increases 1 unit, if father's height is increases 1 unit, then the son's height will increase 0.667 times. This is the interpretation of the simple linear regression model. Here I will suppose this is your equation y is equal to alpha plus beta x. So unit change means unit change in the independent variable. Then there will be a beta, means here our value is 0.667 unit change in y. So our model in that case is son's height. This is our dependent variable. This is intercept, and this is 0.667 into father's height. This is the minimum height of son. This is the regression coefficient. Only this value is very important. How to interpret this value? The unit change. If the father's height is changed by 1 unit, then there will be 0.667 inches changes in the son's height. This is a prediction of the son's height. In regression model, there is very important to see what is the dependent variable, what is the independent variable. So let us take another example. Suppose the birth weight of baby. The birth weight of baby is always depends upon the gestational age of the mother. So here the baby weight is the dependent on gestational age of the mothers. Similarly, you can see what variable is dependent on the other. That depends upon your research question or your study. But what is Y, what is Z, that is decided by your questions. Which variable is dependent on the other. And next model is the multiple linear regression, used when the goal is to predict the value of one from the knowledge of the other. When the term simple, when we use a simple term, then there is only one variable. When we use a multiple regression, there are so many independent variables are there. Multiple regression is used for more than one explanatory variable. You can say independent variable. There are so many terms for the independent variables. This is the just like the simple linear regression, but more than one variable. Allows independent factors of several variables to study at once, can examine contribution of other variable by controlling the effect of other variable. What does it mean? Suppose you have got the one dependent variable and 7 or 8 variables are independent. Then by what is the interpretation for that? Suppose this is the mathematical form for the multiple linear regression, where this is the dependent variable, this is the intercept, this is one variable, beta 1, this is one independent variable, second independent variable, this is third independent variable, this is some error is there. So how to do the interpretation for this? If beta 1 comes out to be this variable point, say 0.667, you can say unit change of this variable is increased by this time. If this value comes out to be negative, you can say by this value is decreasing by unit change in this variable, this will decrease this amount. Similarly, you keep other parameters constant, and interpretation for one by one is given by these coefficients. Okay, this is the way of doing the multiple linear regression. This is dependent, this is intercept, where the x and y are intersection. This is the regression coefficient for one variable, regression coefficient for second variable, up to, if there are 10 variables, this is the regression coefficient for the 10th variable, and these are the independent variables. Now the regression models are the vital tools of data analysis. With just the definition. Now there are three types of model. Linear regression, suppose simple and multiple, I already told. And second one is a logistic regression. And third one is a Cox proportional hazard models. This is the survival analysis is frequently used in many research papers. And what is always the regression models depends upon the type of dependent variable. In the linear regression models, the dependent variables needs to be continuous, and it is must be normally distributed, and independent variables can be independent or categorical. But in the logistic regression model, the dependent variable is always binary. Suppose presence or absence of a characteristic, and these are represented by the 0 and 7. Suppose in our center study, we are dealing with the cervical cancer study. Cases are treated as 1 and controls are treated as 0. And the Cox regression model, hazard model, is used for the follow-up studies where time is under consideration. When the patient is entered into the study and when the event occurs. The difference when this time period is taken in the dependent variable. Suppose there are, that I told you how to build the model in the multiple regression model. There are so many methods in the multiple regression model. One is the enter method, stepwise method, backward method. There are so many methods are there. So in the forward selection method, what we will do, we take all the variables, fix the x variable with the highest R square. R square is generated by the software. You see the value of R square in that output and looks for the x variable which will increase R square by the highest amount. Then which is the highest value of R square, you take that variable into your model, and statistical test is evaluated by the F test. Then one variable is entered, then see the next highest R square. Similarly, this is the statistics for entering the variable in the forward selection method. And other method is this you will understand only when you do the practical session. How to take the R square value, and there are different methods for entering the variables in the model. Here in the forward selection you take the capital look into the R square values. Highest R square is value is entered in first step, then next highest is entered in the next step. Similarly, the selection spots when no variable can be added, which significantly increases R square. You only understand only the how to enter the variable into your model. First of all, you select. Suppose you have select forward selection, then you just see the R square values. The software automatically entered the variable step by step, and you see the last output variables in the equation. This is and you take that variables are responsible for your particular output. When your dependent variable is continuous, then you apply this forward. And other method of entering the variable is a backward. Starts with all the variables in the model, and it will remove the x variable, which results in the smallest R square value is eliminated from your model. This is just the methods for selecting the variables which are responsible for your outcome. There are so many methods: forward, backward, and simply enter method is there. I advise you to, when you go your studies and you want to identify the factors for your study, you apply all the methods and see which variables you want to be significant in your study. Most of the time, backward methods gives the more parameters, because you read so many studies. If you want that smoking is a risk factor for asthma or not, if smoking is not comes out to be significant, then you say that something is wrong in my study or something is wrong in my survey. Then for that you apply all the methods, enter forward, backward, and see what is the feasible parameters, optimal parameters you are able to incorporate in your study. Only you see in the multiple and univariate analysis, the multiple regression, only the capital R square, you see the R square value and concept of R square, and see the last model. Last table will tell you which variables are incorporated in your model. Similarly, another method is the stepwise regression. Okay. These are the just try not to include predictor variables which are highly correlated and each other. Only X may force the other out. So overfitting too many variables are made an unstable model. Don't take the too many independent variables. And normality distribution is also there. Model assumes normal distribution for y variables. Widely skewed data may give the misleading results. Then I want to take the one example for the logistic regression. That is our own study. Suppose you want to do the logistic regression. That logistic regression is always used in the case control studies. Suppose we have got mild, moderate, number of cases are 80. Severe and CIs are 69 cases are there. Invasive cancer is 30 and controls are 230. Suppose you want to compare the mild, moderate with controls, severe CIS with controls, and invasive cancer with controls. Then how to do the logistic regression, that I will tell you. Here also for identifying the risk factors, there are so many methods are there. Enter stepwise forward and stepwise backward. This is just the theory of stepwise forward and backward. Here the entering of the variable is, this is the very complicated statistics, Wald score statistics. And most of the statistical packages give the value of the Wald score statistics, and the variable with the largest significant levels for Wald statistics removed from the model. This is the criteria for entering the model. But you need not to see all the things. See the last step and see the variables which are in the top. It will return the variables are included in the model. You see only that table. All variables specified in the list are entered into the model, like forward logistic regression. Either you can enter the variables by using this statistics or LR for removal. Let's take one numerical example for that. Because Bald statistics and they are very complicated statistics, and you have to read this. What is Bald statistics? What is LR? These are complicated things. You have to first you read this, and how to do the numerically, that I will tell you. Suppose the information relating to the epidemiological data, such as socio-demographic factors, age of women, education of women, and education of husband, reproductive factors, these are all the parameters we have collected in our study. Personal hygiene, sexual practice, obstetric history, cultural practices, including smoking habits, were collected. These informations are collected by our social workers through interview technique in a subgroup. And this information is called confidential. And suppose we first identify what is demographic factors. In the performer, how to build the performer, first having to give the demographical and other parameters. These are all the demographic parameters. Then next call in the next we give the heading obstetric and gynecological parameters, that is age at menarche. These are age at marriage, age at consummation of marriage, age at this type of information we are collected in our project. Full term abortion, stillbirth, these are the all the parameters. Suppose you have got all the parameters and you want to see the risk factors for the cervical cancer. Then first of all, what will you do? You take the cutoff of all the parameters. Here, suppose your variable is age of consummation of marriage. So, what is the risk factor for that? The woman the age of consummation of marriage is less than or equal to 18, you denote as 1. Risk categories is converted into 1, and you give an other name. In the Excel sheet, original variable name are there and transformed variable you write like that. Suppose our variable is age of consummation of marriage, you write TAC and convert all the parameters into 1 and 0 category. Okay, here the education of women. If a woman is illiterate, then you write the variable name as TETW and denoted as 1 and literate is 0. Similarly, education of husband. Illiterate is 1 and literate is 0. Ever smoker, if the person is a smoker, then it is a yes. Then it is in the risk category. You write like that. He smoke 1 and 0. Ever smoker, age in less than or equal to 35 is risk, more than 35 is 0. Type of material during periods, if others, you write like that. He give some abbreviation 1 and 0. Age at marriage, suppose less than or equal to 18, you write TAGM 1 and 0. Age at first pregnancy. So whole data is converted into the 1 and 0. Suppose like that place of delivery, home and hospital. You write 2 plus. If the delivery is conducted at home, it is in the risk category, you write at 1 and hospital 0. Similarly, person conducting delivery, the untrained guide, then this is in the risk, trained as then 0. Then this is the way of doing. Now, when all the variables are dichotomized by 0 and 1, then you do the univariate analysis. In the univariate analysis, you first of all you do the chi-square or Fisher-Exact test, and the magnitude of the risk factor is identified by the odd ratio, and it's odd ratio along with the 95% CA. binary logic, then what is the, if first of all you do the univariate analysis of all the factors, then the variables which are significant in the univariate analysis will be incorporated in the multiple logistic regression. So binary logistic regression applied for multivariate analysis by the, here again there are so many methods to enter the variables into the model, enter method, forward and backward. And you are also by the contingency table. Yesterday I told you the contingency table is very important. You can able to see the association between the two categorical variable, chi-square or Fisher exact test. On that contingency table, you are able to calculate the diagnostic parameters like sensitivity, specificity, PVV, NPV. These are all the diagnostic parameters you are able to calculate by the contingency table. An ROC graph, you can also draw an area under the curve. These are the things you can do in the logistic regression analysis. This is the output. How do you suppose this is the risk factors among mild, moderate, severe CIs, invasive controls, and this. These are the factors. In the mild, moderate, this is the one more column is there, p-value is also there. Suppose here the 2.9 is the odd ratio, and this is the corresponding confidence interval for the odd ratio. Where the education of women, odd ratio is this, and 95% CI is this education. How to interpret this odd ratio? If the suppose the values comes out to be 2.9, what does it mean? Suppose the women who are using other than napkin are more prone to develop the cervix, 2.9 times more prone to develop the cervical cancer. Similarly, education of women. Suppose it comes out, odd ratio comes out to be 2.4 times. That means uneducated women are 2.42 times more prone to develop the cervical cancer. And this is the confidence interval for the education of women. Confidence interval, if this value is the lower limit, is comes out to be less than 0.05, then you can say your results are not significant. But it is, here it is more than 1, that means the results are significant. Similarly, marital status, similarly you can interpret other variables. Here this is the table for the mild, moderate. This is 88 versus controls. This is severe CIS, 61 cases. For that, this is the output. For the, similarly for the invasive cases, 31 versus 230. This is how you write your results in your thesis or in your research papers. Similarly, suppose ACM is less than or equal to 18. Here the odd ratio is 3.05. What does it mean? If the consummation, the women's consummation of marriage is less than 18 years, are 3.05 times higher risk to develop the cervical cancer. Similarly, the woman attaining the first pregnancy less than 18 years are 3.15 times higher risk for developing the cervical cancer. Similarly, for this place of delivery is home. If the delivery is conducted at home, the risk of cervical cancer is 4.04 times as compared to the women who were place of delivery in the hospital. Similarly, this you can interpret this is the results for the severe CIS and invasive. These are the factors. So this is only multivariate analysis. I told you first of all you do the univariate analysis. Then after taking the possible significant factors is incorporated in the logistic regression, and how to do the transform the data. Risk category is always 1 and non-risk is 0. Then by using the SPSS in the first column to be the dependent, then all other significant factors you are able to do the logistic regression. There is one option in SPSS is the binary logistic regression. Similarly, you can see comparative findings of OR95 by forward and backward procedure. Suppose we are taking all these parameters. When we do by the forward, these factors are comes out to be significant. When we apply this method, then some other factors are also included in the model. So that is why I told you when you do some research work and want to see the risk factors for particular outcome, then you are doing both the method forward, backward, enter, and stepwise method, and see which factors are you want actually want in your research. Then try, and you will get the optimal results for your papers, and your papers will be published in good journals also, because we are always see this factor must be there, this factor is not there. So hit and trial, you can do the regression models and draw your results. Uses of regression model predicts Y in presence of explanatory variables. This is the strength of relationship between X and Y's. Overall strength of the model is assessed by the coefficient of R square. There is one statistics is capital R square. Suppose R square comes out to be 40%. That means that variable, the contribution of that variable is 40% in your outcome. Suppose R square this comes out to 20%. Similarly, on the basis of the value of R square, you can see how much that variable explained by the independent variable in the model. If R square comes out to be 30%, you can this variable is contribution of this variable is 30% explained in the model. So now I want to do some demonstration in the SPSS. इसको कैसे करें? Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ जी, एक मिनट इसको क्लोज करना. इसको बंद कर देना. हाँ ये तो हो गया. इसको मिनिमाइज कर. अब इसको क्लोज. हाँ डेटा ही चलाना. हाँ जी, डेटा आ गया आपने?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
अब इसमें जैसे हाउ टू डू द कोरिलेशन प्रॉब्लम एनालिसिस में जाओ, ठीक है. इसके बाद कोरिलेशन correlation के बाद correlation bivariate. Because suppose you want to do the correlation between this and this and this, then say here options are there: Pearson's correlation and Spearman's correlation. Suppose you want to do the Spearman's correlation. So this is the output for the SPSS. Here the first row shows the value of correlation, second the p-value, and third one is the number of observations. Analysis will go, then correlation. Then suppose you want to do the more than two variables. Then take other variables are there. Take other variables are there. Do this. Systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure. Then say, well, test of significance you want. Always we generally take the two-tailed test. And okay. And this is the correlation matrix for all the variables. This is the correlation between this and this, this and this, this and this. That is the way of doing the correlation for more than two variables. This is the correlation matrix. All the diagonal elements are 1, and these are the correlation between this and this, correlation between this and this variable, and in the bottom it will give the p-value for these parameters. Then analysis. Suppose you want to do the regression. Piyush, just a minute. ये वाली इसके ऊपर और भी है ना, इधर कैसे है ना, और you go for the data. Suppose you want to do the regression analysis, go in the regression. Suppose you want to do the, there is the regression model. Analysis, regression. इधर आ जा रहा है, इसमें लेके आइए, लीनियर में लेके आ, मिल ही जाता है। एनालिसिस लीनियर यहाँ लेके आ तब से रिग्रेशन में आओ एंड लीनियर में जाइए, इसमें जाइए लीनियर, हाँ लीनियर, ठीक है। Then first you give the dependent variable. Here dependent variable is must be continuous variable. Suppose this is the continuous variable, you can say BMI. Then one other is also independent variable. There are so many methods are there: enter, stepwise, remove, backward, and this. Suppose you take the enter method. And option statistics is here is estimate R square value. You can see what you want. Confidence interval is there, descriptive is there, and continue and OK. This is a way of doing the regression. Regression is linear. This is this variable must be continuous in nature. So take ILDC and systolic blood pressure. Say okay. And this is a way of doing the simple linear regression. Here this is the sum of squares, and by this table is very important. First of this is the ANOVA table. First you see this table, if the last column is comes out to be non-significant, that means your data is not appropriate and model is not so good. Here these are the beta coefficients, and you see this significant value by unit change of this. If this is the way of doing the simple linear regression. This is the beta coefficient, standard error, and this is the p-value. Okay. Next, if you want to do the multiple regression, go in the regression and linear regression. Instead of giving the one continuous variable, you give other. You can give 5 or 6. Say this, 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 and say BMI, systolic, and dystolic, and select your method, enter stepwise. Try every method is here and see what are the factors you want. Okay. This is the first you give the descriptive statistics, then the correlation matrix, then this is the ANOVA table. Here it comes out to be less than 0.05. You can say your uh, model is good. Here the dependent variable, some variable ILDC, and these are, it shows the dependent and independent variables. These independent or dependent variables depends upon your research question, and you can do like that. And this is the, you can see the significant values. This value is significant, this is not significant. That means TG and WC you can incorporate in your model. Okay. Next is, suppose you want to do the logistic. This is the way of doing the simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. I think this is okay. Next, if you want to do the binary logistic. Binary logistic is there. Okay. So in the binary logistic, I told you the dependent variable must be binary. So which variable is 1 and 0? You look which variable is in the form of 1 and 0. First step is to convert. I told you if these are the independent variables. Suppose first you convert these variables into the 1 and 0 form. This category is denoted by 1, other is 0. ठीक है, अब इसमें already converted देखते हैं अगर हाँ तो Piyush, just a minute. Just a minute. ये इधर इधर की साइड से बैठा रहना, इधर इधर ला ये आ जाता इधर अच्छा ये है 1 and 0. Suppose this is our dependent variable is in the form of 0 and 1. Analysis, say regression, binary logistic, say say alcohol. Alcohol is in the form of 0 and 1. Take dependent variable 0 and 1. Other parameters say categories. This is also in categorical form, and say suppose you enter method. Select any method. Suppose first you take enter method. Okay. And this type of output you will get in the logistic regression, where you will see variables in the equation. You take the last, you not to read every step. You take only the variables in the last equation, and this is the beta values for this parameter, and this is the word statistics. Only you see these values. This value, this is the p value by the word statistics, where you see 0.16 is not significant, this is not significant, this is significant. Only this value is significant. 0.03 corresponding odd ratio is 0.087. Okay. Similarly, you can do the regression and regression on the logistic. Suppose you want to do the univariate analysis for that, you take only one variable at a time. Okay, there are so many options out there that you can explore by installing the SPSS in your system. Options are there, classification plot, you can click this, correlation, and these are so many. But if you don't want every step, you click here. Sometimes what happened, when there is no significant variables in the model, you can change this also. Generally, we enter the model when probability is less than 0.05. You can take up to 25 also. Then your more variables will be able to enter in your model. Okay. This is the way of doing the univariate analysis. You enter one by one other method. This is the way of doing the multiple logistic regression model. Okay, and according to this, there are so many methods are there. You take one by one and see the optimal variables you want in your research. That is in your hand. Analysis. Suppose there are so many other things, but non-parametric tests, I already told you how to do this. I think this is by practicing you are able to do these things. Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you very much. Any question you want to?
Ji, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an elaborative and exemplary explanation. Now, I would like to take up some questions from the audience. So, the ma'am first question is, can we analyze some data by forward regression model and some by backward regression, or we have to stick to only one model for data analysis?
I told you when you want to some specific parameters in your research, you have to apply, you have to try several methods, enter method, forward and backward. You will always see there are different parameters come by the different method. So it is when you want specific parameters in your study, then you must try both the methods.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is, if one data is categorical and other data is continuous, then what methods should we use in regression?
One is categorical and other is continuous.
Continuous.
Your regression model always depends upon the type of variable in the dependent variable. If your dependent variable is categorical, means 1 and 0, in the form of 1 and 0, then you go for the logistic regression, otherwise multiple linear regression.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question is, only two categories of dependent as well as independent variables are there for logistic regression analysis, not more than two.
One is categorical, that is your dependent, that is always there. And one is independent variable, is also that only one variable is there. Then you don't go for the multiple. This is only univariate logistic regression. In that case, you have to apply. Okay. Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, next question is, can you please explain least square regression again, if it is possible?
Least square method is only to estimate the, suppose your equation is y is equal to a plus bx. So, to estimate the a and b, there is some derivation is there. Mathematical derivation is there. By applying that derivation, you are able to calculate the coefficient a and b. So derivation is to do the, by doing the derivation now it is not necessary. The software automatically calculate the coefficient a and b for you. Because derivations are very complicated. For that you must be learn the differential calculation for that. Differential calculus for that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for clarifying our doubts.